What is up, guys? This is Sports Nerd Brad Walker, and welcome to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, please remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber, guys, is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and eat seat delivery. How do you place your order? Guys, welcome Friday night. Hopefully everyone out there is enjoying. We have finally made it to the end of the week, and the weekend is upon us. It is nice to be here on a Friday night with you guys. I made the change, moving this show from Monday to Friday, and it's been working out pretty well for me, moving the date to later in the week. So that's pretty awesome that I'm here. Again, guys, if you do not know, this is the first time you're on here. This is an all Florida sports podcast. And also, guys, if you do not catch this show in its entirety, you can head over to my YouTube channel, The Sports Nerd Bradley Walker, where the shows will be posted in its entirety over there. So, again, any of the previous episodes of this show or the Walker Report, the ones that we do on Thursday night, also are there in its entirety. And the cool thing, guys, is I'm going to have both of my co-hosts from my show last night on here this evening. One of them is waiting patiently to bring him on, so let me go ahead and add him real quick.
How are you doing tonight?
Happy Friday, bud. How are you?
Happy Friday, man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? Doing good?
Pretty good. I made strips, fettuccine Alfredo for dinner tonight.
Nice. I'm not a big fettuccine fan, Alfredo fan. Other than that, everything else seems good in that equation.
Yeah. Well, I made my own sauce and everything.
Oh,
so.
Cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love to cook, so.
I'm learning. That's something that I'm experimenting with as we go. So I'm learning how to do that. So that is something that I've been
working on. Yeah, I hear you. I love to cook. I've been cooking for going on 30 years.
Nice.
Or 20 years, I suppose. I aged myself up about 10 years there, didn't I?
I was going to say, he says 30 years. I'm like, he's only 20 in his 20s. How is he? So unless he was cooking while he was in the womb, then yeah, I could definitely see what he was talking about. But yeah, that's cool. All right, guys.
I relied on my mom at that point.
There you go. I'm going to start with a local indie race that is taking place. Started today.
Yeah.
I get the luxury of working in downtown St. Pete, and it was so cool walking through the city today and hearing the roaring of the engines as they do their practice and stuff. As my boss said to me, it sounds like a bunch of bees coming at you. That's what the engines sound like.
Yeah.
I said,
a whole bunch of angry bees, man.
Angry bees coming at you. I said, yeah, that looks about wraps it up pretty good with that. Guys, the St. Pete Grand Prix, I think if I heard correctly, did I hear that the Indy's only going to do 11 races this year for the year? Was all they're going to do?
I haven't heard that. Let me look that up. Because normally they run 20 or so.
I thought I heard that on local radio that they're only going to do 11 this year. There's only 11 Indy races that have been scheduled. And I could be wrong. Everyone gets it, incorrect as well. If you guys do not know, it is on the streets of St. Petersburg in downtown. It's a 1.8-mile, 14-turn temporary street circuit clockwise through St. Petersburg, Florida, including the runway of Albert Whitted Airport. And if you guys are wondering what Alfred Whitted Airport is, no, it's not St. Pete, Clearwater, or Tampa International. It is a small airport where single-engine planes fly out of.
It's not even a regional airport, then, eh?
Yeah, no, it's they fly Cessnas out of there. They're nothing really major. There's no big airplanes that fly out of there, not Delta or anybody like that. That's it.
You're not even gonna get your puddle jumpers that are flying out of there taking you up to Orlando or anything like that.
No, these are small, dual engine planes, single engine planes, nothing really.
Crop dusters.
Yeah, flying out of there.
I don't know. I don't know if that part of Florida has crops.
No. Downtown St. Pete, we got no crops down there. Just a bunch of buildings, unless you consider apartment complexes.
You got that concrete jungle going on down there, right?
Down in downtown St. Pete. Yeah, a lot. Every time you turn around, a building gets torn down, and what do they build on the property? They build condos, apartment complexes. Yep. The race, guys, will be 100 laps at 181 miles. It says that it'll be 150 seconds of total time with a maximum single duration of 15 seconds. The push to pass is not available on the initial start or any restart unless it occurs, in the final 2 laps or 3 minutes of a timed race. Again, this race is sponsored by Firestone tires. It says 6 set primary, 4 seats alternate, 1 additional. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. My fault. There's only 11 racers in this race. I apologize. That's what it was.
Wow, okay.
There's only 11 drivers, yeah. They only have six primary, 4 alternates. I guess they have 5.
6 tires? 11 sets of tires.
That's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like 11 driver.
Yeah. So they'll
they have six primary. You've got the hard compound, 4 of the soft compound, 2 alternates, kind of a medium compound, and then an extra set for rookies. I saw that last night when I was looking it up.
There was an NTT IndyCar Series practice going on
earlier today. I missed it. I forgot all about it. I was playing baseball. Forgot all about it.
Between 4:15 and 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you guys do have Peacock Premium, that is the streaming network that NBC has.
I may end up shutting my cable off and just getting more premium networks.
Yeah.
I've been kicking that around for a while.
And tomorrow, bud, from 9:45 to 10:30 in the morning. So after your show starts there at 10.
Oh, is it 10 in the morning? Okay, good deal.
Another practice then, and then from 1:45 till 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, qualifying for Part 1 or PO1 Award, 3 rounds of knockout.
Yeah.
That again also will be on Peacock Premium.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, the race is on Sunday. Warm up is between 9:05 and 9:35 in the morning. It'll be on NBC Sports at noon.
Okay.
12:35 is when they start. Engines start. 12:42 is when the race is. Then that's on NBC Live, regular NBC. At that, so around 1:45 to 1:00 Eastern Standard Time, guys. Tomorrow, as we are on the green coast. So again, Pacific time, guys. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time, and go through the time zones. If you guys are big IndyCar fans out there that are not watching in this state or in a different time zone than me, that is that. Chip Ganassi Racing's Alex Palou kicked off the 2021 season with a bang, claiming his first career NTT IndyCar Series victory at Barber Motorsports Park. The 24-year-old Spaniard eligible series champions Will Power and Scott Dixon to claim the champions point lead for the first time. Let's see here. This will be the 18th time the streets of St. Petersburg, dating back to 2003. Joseph Newengard won last year's race out on the streets of St. Pete, which was the championship deciding race for the first time. Yes, it was at the end of the season last year. Paul Tracy won the inaugural race back on February 3rd, 2003 under kart sanction, while Sebastian Barada started from the pole that year. Let's see, the St. Peter Car race has been run since 2003, except for 2004. No driver has competed in every St. Petersburg race but Scott Dixon. He has started 16 consecutive races.
Wow.
Sebastian Bortles and Ryan Hunter-Reilly competed in the first race in 2003. So Scott Dixon is a very well-known man around here in St. Pete. Every one of the races that has occurred here.
I wonder who's never won St. Pete.
I think he has won St. Pete. I don't know if he's ever. Maybe not. Maybe he has never won the race. I don't
like Scott Dixon, so I don't know. I've never liked. I don't know why I don't like Scott Dixon. I just never have.
There are 3 rookies entering: Formula One veteran Romain Grosjean, 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson, and 3-time Australian Supercar champion Scott McLaughlin will all be the rookies there. And Dalton Collette will also attempt to make his first start at St. Petersburg. So, like I said, guys, if you are interested, there are tickets available. I heard on the radio today that they range anywhere from $25 to $52, depending
That's
on
not
where
bad.
you want to be on the track. They do have 3-day passes, which obviously that wouldn't make any sense now since the day
Today's
one has
Friday.
already happened. But it's a cool event that happens, nearby me. That isn't football related or wrestling related, so it is different. It's a different for all my motor sports fans. The man to my right here or left here is a huge motorsports fan.
I love the motorsports. I do.
But there are, so again, guys, if you get a chance, obviously, again, you're going to have to go through standard COVID protocol. Yours truly got his first COVID shot today, and I have not one side effect yet. So I'm counting.
Not even arm soreness.
Not one arm soreness or anything. Not so far. Again, I'm not jinxing myself.
Right.
Tomorrow morning, I won't even be able to lift my arm up.
Right.
But yeah, I got my first shot today. I get my second shot at the end of May. So I'm looking forward to getting this done and through so that I can have a vaccinated card, and then I know I can go anywhere I want to go from that point on.
Did you get Moderna or Pfizer?
Pfizer.
I got Pfizer too.
Yeah, that's I got the first shot today. So anyone out there, again, if you want to get vaccinated, please go and do that as soon as you can. I know it's easier said than done. A lot of people are having issues with booking appointments. If you are against it, well, that's your opinion, and I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, but that's up to you. You make that call on that. I think the more of us that get vaccinated, the more we're going to get back to what was normal life quicker than if we don't. But again, I'm not telling anyone to go against your beliefs. If you believe that not getting it is the best thing, then that's on you. I'm not going to tell you what to do in your life. I don't have that power to control anybody's existence. So you do what you want to do. But everybody else out there, if you're going to get vaccinated, do it as quickly as you can, and so that we can get back to the what was life before 2020 occurred.
Right.
So I'm going to jump, guys, down to the USL, and that's the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're a local soccer team. Now, this is not Major League Soccer or anything like that. This is not MLS. We did have a team in the MLS at one time called the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
That's a cool name.
It only lasted, I think, a few seasons, and, of course, the organization crumbled under revenue issues, so it went away for a while. And actually, originally, from what I understand, the original soccer team in Tampa was the Rowdies. And then what happened is that team folded, so they came up with the Mutiny. Then they got rid of the Mutiny and went back to the Rowdies. Now, the Rowdies, if you guys do not know, were in the championship game a year ago, in the USL championship game. But due to COVID issues on the team, the league canceled the game instead of rescheduling it. So the Rowdies won the east side of the division, the east side of the league, and Phoenix won the west side of the league. Those two teams, as I mentioned on the show last week, will meet on ESPN2, I think sometime in May. So you'll be able to watch the Rowdies. And again, if you don't know where the Rowdies play, they play in Howling Stadium, and that is at one time was the spring training home of the the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals used to do their spring training here before. I think they're in Arizona now. I don't know. I think they moved to Arizona.
I believe so.
I don't think they're here in Florida anymore. But yeah, that's where they play, and they are owned by Stu Sternberg, who also owns the Tampa Bay Rays. They bought the Rowdies last year. The thought process is that maybe they would play on the same field if they can get a new stadium made for the Rays. I'll be talking about that too later on when I get to the Rays talk, that they want to have an outdoor stadium in Florida, which I don't know why in the world you want an outdoor stadium in Florida when it's so hot here and the rain is.
Yeah, that's what
you'll have a lot of rainouts because come a few, I would say the next few weeks.
About an hour.
Come May, come next month, come June, It rains every afternoon at 4:30 in the afternoon. Sometimes it lasts for 5 minutes, and sometimes it downpours for days.
5 hours.
Yeah. It just depends on that. And there's, if you want to have a roof, retractable roof, then that's fine too.
That would be fun.
Put that. I mean, why don't they just do that with Tropicana Field? If that's the case, so put the Rowdies in there to play on turf. I think you can play. I think you could play it on turf. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do they play on a standard field?
Standard field.
Do they have a condensed?
Yep, standard field. Yeah,
I meant in terms of size. Do they play on a standard soccer pitch?
I believe so, buddy. I believe so. I'm not sure what the measurements
200
are.
Feet by 80 feet is
standard, Google that, I believe. Google that. Google dimensions of Al Lang Field in St. Pete. See what comes up. I'm just curious about that myself. Now that you say that.
No, that's not an owl in the field. How do you spell the name of the stadium there?
It's A-L. First is like Al, like Al Bundy. And then Lang is L-A-N-G, like Clubber Lang. Rocky 3.
Okay. Field size is 110 by 75.
Is that a standard soccer pitch? I don't know.
The standard soccer pitch I thought was 200 by 80. Okay.
Maybe the USL plays on a smaller field than a normal.
It's a little bit smaller. The standard soccer field is 115 by 74.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. It's not that.
No, long. It's not. It's actually a little bit wider, but a little bit shorter. It's shorter by 5 yards and wider by a yard.
Gotcha. Okay.
So is that the United States League then?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the USL. Yeah, it's the United.
Would that be United Soccer League, something like that? Yeah, right?
United Soccer League. That's what it is. Again, like I said, guys,
I don't follow the soccer, so
the Rowdies were the Eastern Conference champions.
Okay, cool.
Last year.
Hey, titles are titles, right?
Yep. They have a great coach in Nick Collins. He's been here for a few years. They brought back many of the guys that they were on the team a year ago. They've added about 4 people: Connor Atlee, Steven Dos Santos. And bear with me if I'm pronouncing these names incorrectly. Racco Arozarena. Now, if you guys do not know, that is the brother of Ray's outfielder Randy Arozarena. Yeah, the brothers are in Tampa together. One's playing for the Rowdies, the other one's playing for the Rays. Lawrence Wilk is a midfielder, so they lost 3 people, only 3 to do that. If you do not know, guys, their colors are green and gold, similar to the USF Bulls. Their stadium is not far from the USF St. Pete campus down in downtown St. Pete, right on the water. You can walk by it, and then right down the road, there are a lot of nice hotels and condos and restaurants. So you're right in the downtown area of where that is at. But again, this is Coach Collins' 4th season with the Rowdies. Here's what their possible lineup could be. In goal, you have Evan Loraro. You have then Jason Scarlett, Forrest Jasso, Aaron Golan on defense. Then you have Sebastian Dogard, Jordan Doherty, Leo Fernandez, Jan Ikra, Zach Steinberger, Steven Dos Santos, and Sebastian Guzowski are your front court. And again, I don't know what positions, guys. I am not the biggest soccer fan. I am kind of hoping this year, if they have people in attendance, I'm hoping to go. I've never been to a Rowdies game, but I would love to go, being that I'm not that far away. There are 2 sporting events that I have not been to live. One of them is soccer. The other one is NBA. I'd have to travel, 2 hours to Orlando or drive 4 or 5 hours to Miami to watch the Heat because I really don't consider the Toronto Raptors a Florida team. They're in here because the border is shut in Canada and you can't cross the border. But guys, I mean, in all reality, this team is geared again to go back and finish the job and win the overall championship this year. It's kind of ironic that we had possibly 4 championships in this city. If the Rowdies would have won their championship, the Bucks and the Lightning both won championships in the NFL and the National Hockey League. And if the Rays were only 2 wins away from winning the World Series, you're talking about 4 possible championships last year for Tampa Bay. So we've been called Champa Bay because of all the championships that could have possibly won or been won this year. And you know what? I will be honest with you guys, everyone out there, it just makes you feel better from what happened last year with the whole pandemic, and we couldn't go see this. We couldn't see them in person. We couldn't go to games.
Yeah.
And as my co-host knows, when you go to a college football game and there's not one fan in the stands, very eerie. It's a very eerie experience.
It's got to be surreal.
That I wish upon no one. I wish no one would have to go through that again because, yeah, it's not fun. And if anybody needs fans, it's the college kids. They're the ones who feed off crowd noise. And you know what? I would say in any sport, but I think they're the ones who feed it off more than any of the other ones do. And nothing, not knocking on any professional athlete from, IndyCar, NASCAR, all the way down to, soccer, anybody like that. I'm not knocking professional athletes. It's just, to me, the college kids feed off the crowd noise a lot more
absolutely.
than the pros do. So that is how I see it. So the Rowdies, again, are gearing up for another championship run. And we'll hope I'll be here covering it when the season starts. I believe their season is getting ready to kick off, I think, in mid-May. So we're a couple weeks away from the Rowdies getting their season underway. And I'll be here live covering it. The next thing, guys, obviously I'm going to jump to the National Football League. And if you guys did not join us last night, me, Adam, and Louis, we can call him Louis. We'll be covering the first round, guys, next week of the NFL draft. And the team now sitting behind me has the number 1 overall pick. And I think we all know who the number 1 overall pick is going to be. Unless they pull an absolute, bizarre thing, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. I think we all pretty much know that's going to happen. I did read something today, though, that there have been teams that have called the Jaguars and offered trades for the number 1 overall pick, and yet they're still staying. So nothing has caught their attention. We're trading.
You'd have to blow me away.
Well, I mean, okay. So hypothetical situation. If I'm the general manager of Jacksonville, I want like 4 number 1 picks. I want your first round pick this year, next year, the year after that, and the year after that. Number 1. I'm taking the next 4 years of first round picks. Probably, depending on who I trade with, I want your quarterback because I need a quarterback. So I'm going to get your quarterback.
Most likely, yeah.
Then maybe a couple second and third round picks. Then maybe I would think, okay.
I want 3 first rounders. I want your quarterback. I want a starter on defense. And I want 2 second rounders.
Sounds good to me.
And we'll talk. We'll start the negotiations there. You would have to blow me away because there's just nothing there. Trevor Lawrence has the potential to be a generation-defining talent.
Right. And that's correct. He absolutely does. And, there's, again, you don't want to give up on that. But then again, as we both seen, man, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But
I don't think that's going to happen this year. So, I'm just saying.
The only thing that I could see happening is that they went with Justin Fields.
That would be, the only reason that I would say Justin Fields is because of Urban Meyer's
Yeah, the Ohio State connection.
Ohio State connection. That's the only reason that I would think that they would take him. And you know what? They might.
That would throw an absolute spanner in the works.
Then that means Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jets because they.
He said he doesn't want to go to New York.
Yeah. So
if he refuses to sign in New York, then does he go number 3 to San Francisco?
Well, he'd pull an Eli Manning at that point.
Yeah, and demand a trade.
Yeah. And
either that or if the Jets are if the Jets are, I don't know how high on Wilson the Jets are, but they may have their heart set on Wilson, so he could be available at 3 and end up in San Francisco. I don't see that happening, but
that's a possibility. I mean, I think if that did happen, I mean, I think when it comes to San Francisco, they either want Justin Fields or they want Mac Jones, because I think Lawrence and Wilson will both be gone within the first 2 days.
I think so too. Yeah.
So
I've heard.
Yeah. There
he is.
So I mean, yeah, I think it would be asinine for the Jaguars to trade out of that first overall pick.
I would not.
Unless you're without blown away, like you said.
Yeah, you'd have to mortgage. I'd have to get the farm, the house, and your daughter.
Yeah,
and the car.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
we're not talking about just mortgaging the farm here. We're talking about I need the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So again, and then here's the question too. Now, if they're obviously going to take Trevor Lawrence, so you guys see them taking an offensive lineman in round 2. They need to get an offensive line.
Probably.
You don't want to have what happened to Joe Burrow to happen to Trevor Lawrence this year.
If Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan falls into the second round, he'd be my first pick.
Okay, as an offense. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see why that would be an issue. I mean, again,
he's been. Yeah, or you trade up into the second round, at the end of the first round, and take him, because there's a talk that he could go anywhere from 21 all the way down to 30. So he could be available at the top of the second round, and maybe already off the board. So you could look at trading up into the top of the second round. Maybe you give up your second and your third to move up 4 or 5 spots to get a guy you want, because by the time you get to the third round, it's such a crapshoot that do you even need your third rounder?
Well, I just actually I have to post the article a little bit later. I wrote an article about the Colts, and they don't have a third round pick because their third round pick got traded to Philadelphia to acquire Carson Wentz. So they don't have a third round pick. They have a pick in every other round.
And I don't hate giving up a third rounder, because especially for a talent, I don't hate giving up a third or a fourth rounder, because especially if you can get a legitimate talent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so again, a third rounder might surprise you. Sometimes the later picks can really surprise you. I mean, everybody thinks, well, they're only a third round. They came from a second-rate school, and they're not going to do much. But you never know; they could surprise you, because some of them have gone to be decent players in the NFL.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate it, gentlemen.
No. But a third rounder is a lot easier to give up than a first or a second rounder, because to get an established star or to get a better draft pick. A higher draft pick, I would be more willing to give up a third rounder for a bona fide star than I would be to roll a. If I got somebody that I know is going to be good and I can give up, give up that third round pick, I'd rather do that.
Well, Swami, what's in the crystal ball?
I don't know. I still haven't got my ball back from the shop after I sent it in after the tournament. It's still down for repairs, man. I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
Well, the next team is the Miami Dolphins, who at one time did have the third overall pick in the draft and is now picking 6th in round 1. And again, this is a team that had a bunch of picks a year ago and did their menace, and now they have another bunch of picks this year and do more menace. This team did get better. They finished the season 6th last year. second place behind the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. Just missed the playoffs, losing to the Bills in Week 17 of all things. They lost to the division rival. But this team definitely, I think they have the right coach. I think Brian Flores has.
Yeah, Flores has impressed the hell out of me.
Now here's the thing. Now this will be Tua's sophomore season. They have Jacoby Brissett backing him up, not Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
This year, Fitzpatrick. I don't know where Fitzmagic.
Washington.
Year. Well, Washington with the.
I believe so. I believe it was Washington
football team, which probably will get a new name. I think they have been working that out with their fans to get a new name for that football team.
They need an actual name.
Yeah. I will. Don't be shocked if they don't stick with Washington football team because
it's a boring name.
Yeah,
it's an incredibly boring name.
But I think Tua definitely. I think will get better this year.
I hope so.
That's something that I guess the Dolphins are banking on. Again, the Bills are still probably the best team. The Patriots made a lot of moves.
Be better.
Free agency. They're going to be better. The Jets are going through what they're going through, so it'll be a couple years, maybe 3 years before the Jets are there.
Loosely, only 3 years? Sounds good to me.
Yeah. What do you make of our draft pick? Assuming we get him.
Well, you guys are picking number 2, so behind Jacksonville. So we'll see how that all plays itself out.
Yeah, we've already kind of
kicked. We'll find out Thursday, won't we?
Yes, sir.
We'll find out.
We could find out early.
Find out Thursday. I read today that the Dolphins are not afraid to pick smaller wide receivers. Again, like he had at Alabama. Obviously, that would be something that
I really think they should take a wide receiver at 6.
At 6, okay. I mean,
if they can't get one of the 2 top offensive linemen, I think they should take Waddle or Smith.
Okay,
that's what I would do. You can't get a better weapon than Waddle or Smith. They're great weapons, and they already have that chemistry. I mean, he threw, I don't know how many touchdowns he threw to them. I don't know why I'm doing this voice. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Because it does say, but I did read another article here. I'm not opening my articles, but I went and summarized these before. They're talking about taking a defensive player in the first round. So I don't know if
maybe when do they have when's their next pick? I know they have 6. Do they have like 13?
They have another pick in round. Hang on a second. Let me see. They have another pick in round 1. I think they have 2. I think they have Houston's pick.
They had Houston's pick. That was 3, and they traded that to Philly for 6 and some. I forget what else and 12. I think it was. I don't remember.
Let's see here.
12.
Yeah, they pick somewhere in the teen area or right around the teens is where they pick.
Yeah.
They like I said, they have another boatload of picks.
And then they have a whole bunch of picks.
Let's see here. They pick round 1 in number 6 and number 18 in round 1.
18, okay.
And then in round 2, they pick 36 and 50. So they have 2 first, 2 second round picks. They pick 81st in round 3, 156 in round 4. They have no 5th or 6th round picks. And they pick 231 and 258 in round 7. Which where's Mr. Irrelevant end up?
256.
256.
256.
So there you go with that. So that's the Dolphins. Definitely were a better team. They obviously have the right man in charge. And again, it could go one way or the other. Either they're going to pick offensive line, they're going to pick a wide receiver, they're going to go defense. They have 2 picks, so they can go either route. They can get both of their guys they want at 6.
Yeah.
Depending on if they don't pick a wide receiver, if there's someone left at 18 that would fit that offense, or you pick the wide receiver and get the defensive guy at 18. One half does the other. Yeah.
What I would think is if you can't get the lineman at 6, you take the wide receiver at 6. And you can take a lineman. You can take the offensive lineman at 18. You can maybe take Mayfield or the other Michigan kid that I can't remember his name that was hyped in the first round that I'm not sold on. But you take one of those 2, or maybe Quinnipiac, the defensive lineman out of Michigan that everybody's so high on, that they've got him going in that right around between 15 and 25, if he's still available, if he's still on the board. Or you could look to trade 13 away or 18 away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you trade back. Maybe you trade back with Jacksonville.
Yeah,
could be. Yeah, I mean,
or do you take a bit of a risk and go after Najee Harris out of Alabama, the running back?
Yeah, that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, because I did see that earlier that he was projected to go to either Pittsburgh or Miami.
Okay,
so that could be. I would love him.
Offense, very
could you imagine that? Tua under center, Waddle or Smith at wide out, and Harris behind him.
Alabama.
That offense would be dynamite.
Yep, that's scary.
That offense would be killer.
Well, if they can, if they do that, but if they get those three guys, do you think that puts them over the top over Buffalo? Because that's the team that they're
experience.
Okay,
Buffalo has give them 2 years. Give them 2 years to start to congeal and coalesce, and watch out for the Dolphins. They will be a title contender in 2 years. If they do that, if they go that route, which would not be a bad route in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think Smith and Waddle are both bona fide superstars in the NFL. Waddle is fast. He's got good route running, and Smith is just big.
Yeah.
And so speed kills and size kill. If you can throw, if you get anything inside the 20s, if you can throw a back shoulder fade and have your guy go out, just high point the ball and go up and take it away from the shorter defensive back. Yeah.
Well, I heard speed kills more than, size.
Yeah. Well, speed kills in the open field. Between the 20s, speed is where it's at. But inside the 20, in your offensive red zone, size is what you want. You big, tall, wide guys that can out jump anybody. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, again, that's another team we'll obviously all three of us will be watching come Thursday. And then here's the team that picks at 32, and
the best pick in the draft, man.
This is the team. This is a position the Bucs have not really been in for a long time.
18, 19 years.
The 32nd pick overall in the draft. Now, here, I listened to Jason Light's press conference the other day. Of course, he's not going to tip anyone's hand because
of course not.
Other teams are listening to press conferences trying to get where the Bucs are going to go at 32. Yes, could the Bucs trade that pick? Absolutely. Absolutely they could. They can move down into round 2, but I don't see that happening. Yep. A lot of people, again, the two names I've seen at quarterback is University of Florida quarterback Kyle Trask or quarterback Ian Book out of Notre Dame. Both of those two have been discussed thoroughly on this show. I've got to see both of them, obviously. Notre Dame played USF this year and absolutely murderized them in South Bend. And Kyle Trask is on my favorite college football team, so I got to see Kyle up close. But it's all again, it depends on accuracy. So again, that's the big thing in the NFL. You got to be accurate. You can't be wild throwing
and inconsistent.
To me, then that leans to Kyle Trask. That is nothing against Ian Book, but then again, like I think Adam said last night, he tends to be a little inconsistent where he has a good game and then he comes out and
but the draft him so low. I mean, I thought he'd be better than that.
Well,
no. I didn't have him anything, and this was just me. I didn't have him any higher than the 4th round.
Wow.
Ian Book, because he's not consistent enough. Because one week he'll look like a world beater, and the next week he'll look like an egg beater.
Okay,
that's my knock on Ian Book is I don't think he's consistent enough. Yeah. I just haven't, his body of work. He goes out there and he beats up on bad teams, but he gets in against a good team and he can't get it done more times than not. And, you look at the reason I would, if I was Tampa Bay and I was looking to draft a quarterback this year, I would go with Kyle Trask. because that offense is set up for the long run, 4, 5, 6 years. You've got Goodwin and the
Mike Evans
and
Scotty
the
Miller.
other. Yeah, that's the name I was looking for.
And then you have Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota, who's an up and coming stud as well in that offense.
Yeah.
So they have wideouts. I think the weakness, I think it's been a weakness for a long time, is the run game.
It's either running back or tight end.
Well, okay. So here, this is the year that it's OJ Howard. This is his proving year. This is his 5th year in this offense.
Yeah.
So this is a make or break season for OJ Howard. If he fails, he's gone. And Rob Gronkowski's not going to play forever. So that's going to be.
This is going to be Rob's last year.
They're going to have to look at getting a pick here, down the road. They're going to have to pick a quarterback down the road. Either they don't do it this year, it's going to have to be next year. Then again, how about
Tom could play another 6 years? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, who knows what how that. Hopefully, and that's the big question. Is the offensive line did a great year of keeping him clean last year
after week 5.
Yep.
After he went off on their asses,
I would have to say the first overall pick last year, their offensive lineman.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I had the second, the running. I thought the lineman was good. The running back that they took was an incredible disappointment.
Keyshawn Vaughn of Vanderbilt was the one who was the bust, I think, last year.
And I tried to tell you, but does anybody listen to me? No.
Relax, man. They don't listen to me either.
I know, right?
So, that was the main thing. Was Vaughn was the bust last year, but again, the Bucs brought almost every free agent back that they had. Somehow they did the numbers right. They brought back every free agent, barring injury. This team could be right back in the thick of it again in the NFC. I think they're going to win the South. Again, I'm not thinking so. That, but I think
I'll pick them to win the South. I think they'll be 13-4, 12-5, something like that.
I would say that I like that. And again, guys, we'll have the schedules coming out here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, May.
Yeah, there won't be a show on not next Thursday, the following Thursday, because I'll be out of town. But the week after that, we can recap the entire NFL schedule.
Yes.
And then on this show, I'll go through the Jags, Dolphins, and Bucs schedule individually, kind of saying, okay, here's what the predictions will be on what we think they'll all go.
Marquee matchups.
Right. How many primetime games will the Bucs have this year now that they have
a championship to the name?
And by the way, the Bucs are playing the New England Patriots this year on the road. Just want to point that out. That's going to happen.
That will either be a Sunday night game or a Monday night game. There's no way in hell the NFL doesn't put that in a marquee time slot. There's 3 time slots that'll either get. It'll be the late Sunday game. That'll be the national on Fox or CBS. Probably CBS because that'd be an NFC home game or AFC home game.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'll be I'm betting now it's a Sunday night game on NBC.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Chris Collinsworth, Michaels will be the announcer.
Well, you know how they feel about Chris Collinsworth. Well, I'm not going to.
I don't.
Collinsworth has grown on me like a tumor over the last 6 years.
I can't.
I didn't like Chris until I started podcasting full time and being more involved. I didn't like Chris Collinsworth, but like a tumor, he's grown on me. At least he's not Bob Costas.
Oh, come on. I like Costas.
I said I like Bob Costas. I don't have a problem with it.
I've never liked Bob Costas.
The one that I'm not the biggest Mike Tirico fan.
I like Mike Tirico. Yeah, I've always liked Mike Tirico.
Yeah, I'm not a big Mike Tirico fan. Never have.
I think Kenny Albert is one of the best. I love Kenny. Yeah. I love me some Kenny Albert.
Lou knows him. He's better. Lou. I mean, he's does a lot of. Doesn't he do the Knicks games? Isn't he the Knicks TV guy?
But he's not like his father.
I didn't know his father. I'm a huge Kenny Albert fan.
You don't know Marv?
No, I didn't. Marv was retired by the time.
No, Marv's still around.
He wasn't doing anything nationally when I came around.
Okay.
So I'm a huge Kenny Albert fan. I think he's great.
Mm.
All right. Well, we'll jump to the to Major League Baseball, and I start with the boys down in Miami, the Fish down in Miami.
Going fishing.
Going fishing. Now they're off to a good start, but now they have Sterling Marte on the IR with a fractured rib.
Ooh, that's what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, he's having a good season. Let me see whereabouts the Marlins are in the division as far as the NL East. Because they're in
the
division
East, okay.
With the Braves.
3rd or 4th?
Braves and Phillies.
They're probably Braves, Phillies, Mets.
Mets, Nationals are also in that division as well.
Okay. I think the Braves are at the top. I think Phillies 2nd. The Mets are 3rd. Nationals 4th. Marlins 5th.
What else is new?
No, it's the Phillies on top. They're 9-9. The two teams that are on top of the division are both at 500. The Phillies are at 9-9. The Mets are at 7-7. The Braves are 8-10. The Marlins are also 8-10. The Nationals are 7-9. Again, we're only 18, 16 games into the season. So
way too early.
With that, when I first started this season or this show this year, I said to myself, this is a team that made it to the playoffs last year despite getting COVID. They had COVID issues right out of the gate last year. This was the team that kind of went downward with, and this team still was able to make it to the postseason. They're not getting a lot of credit. They were not. I think someone said that they were lucky if they're going to win, 50 games this year. So
that's rough.
Yeah, they were going to lose 70 something games this year, 75 games, somewhere in that neighborhood. So yeah, it was bad. That's how they predicted it to be. But like I said, they're off to a good start. They have Jazz Chisholm and Trevor Rogers could be up for Rookie of the Year. Again, don't quote me on that. Again, we're only not
way too early
the season to predict that stuff. But still, they are. I think
some predictions early.
They're off to a better start than I think a lot of people predicted them to be on. They play again. The division that they play in obviously is not easy. The Braves, obviously, I would have picked Atlanta to win the NL East right out of the bat. I mean, there'd be no doubt in my mind.
Atlanta and Philly to come out of that division.
Philadelphia, yeah, I would say it would be Atlanta, Philly, the Mets, Miami, and then Washington, or maybe Miami and the Mets.
Then Washington.
Then the Nats But then, again, still early. We don't know. I mean, Miami could be what everyone predicts them to be, very bad, or and they could be a playoff team. So who knows?
Losing Sterling Marte is not exactly, uplifting feeling in the clubhouse.
Well, exactly. Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, that's not going to help. That's not going to help your cause.
No.
No.
You gotta have, but it's a long season.
Right.
If you can stay right at 500 till he gets back, it's kind of like picking up a deadline. It's like getting a deadline accusation, apparently. Acquisition.
Right.
You get him back, you stay right around 500, you get him back, and he elevates you 2 or 3 games, and you can squeak into the playoff. You can make a run.
Yeah.
You can be a buyer instead of a seller at the deadline.
Correct. Yep. No doubt about that. I think the team can be very good. I think that they're not getting.
I agree. Because look at what they did with a shortened condensed season, and they had to get 50 games in 5 days or something like that. They were playing at 9 a.m., noon, and then 4 o'clock in the afternoon at one point, weren't they? Yeah. they had 4 games in 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we'll flip the script, guys, to Tampa. This is a team that was in the World Series a year ago that lost 6 games to the Dodgers, as we all know the whole Blake Snell thing in Game 6.
Who's the manager down there?
Kevin Cash.
Why wasn't he fired?
He's not fired because the team continues to win 90-plus games underneath him. That's why he didn't get fired.
Yeah.
I would have, if I was the general manager, I would have walked out on the field and fired him right on the spot.
Right.
I'd have come screaming down out of the press box and just fired him right there in the dugout. Like, you put Blake Snell back out there, you dumb SOB, or you're gone.
Dumbass.
They are right now. The Rays are in second place in the AL East. They are 10-9. They're only trailing the 12-8 Boston Red Sox.
No, that's a surprise.
The Orioles are 8-10. The Blue Jays are 8-10. I'll be talking about them next. And then the Yankees are at 7-11. But again, guys, way too early to say that.
Oh yeah.
The Red Sox.
They're all crying foul now anyway.
So, I don't think they're going to stay down. I really don't.
No.
After they had a good game last night. They bounced back. The bats were working again. It's such a long damn season.
Yeah. To me, it's a two-team race. It's the Rays and the Yankees. That's how I look at it.
And Boston. I think Boston is so far early. I expected with Blake Snell leaving, with the falling apart in the World Series, I expected Tampa Bay to take a step back.
Okay.
That was just my prediction going into it. I've always liked the Rays. I've never hated the Rays, and they're not one of my rivals. It's not like Cleveland or Chicago or Minnesota or Chicago. And so I've never hated the Rays. They've always been one of those underdog lovable losers that they've won a game. Good job, guys. Can you do it again?
Yeah. They have that what do they call it? Like bad news bears type mentality.
Yeah.
No one thinks they're going to win anything, and then they come and they all of a sudden, they're there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There they are. When
so
it's all
I've always liked the Rays. The Marlins are leading right now in the bottom of the first.
They again, as you all know, the lease with Tropicana Field is up in 2027. I know, again, that's 6 years.
That's a long. We still have a whole strike to get through before we even can worry about that.
Yeah. That's well, the strike. They may break the lease sooner.
We discussed that last night, that there probably will be a baseball strike.
So does it run through the 2027 season?
Yeah, what it does is the lease is up after 2027, and then they want to then move. Okay, they don't want to move them. They want to play half of the regular season in St. Pete,
and the other half
in Montreal. They want to play the other half of the season in Montreal. So,
point of order.
Go ahead.
Why?
Dumb.
Well,
that's a terrible idea.
The ownership with the Rays he's got his head so far up in an orifice. I can't say on this show. I can say it on the other show, but I can't say it on this show. But yeah, no. Here's the thing: is hopefully the Rays can get a new owner before the whole lease ends up. Someone needs to buy the team from Sturenberg and say, okay, they need to let the team build. They had a stadium site in Ybor City. Of course, if you guys are not known from the Tampa area, Ybor City is a very old city. It's been around since the gangster days, back in the early 50s and 60s. It's been that long. It's a very old part of Tampa. But they had it's known for its nightlife. It's a really big club scene in Tampa.
Club scene.
It's
Is it a nice area?
It has its bad areas. It's not 100%. Sometimes not the safest area to be in if you are a certain sex or race.
Race? Yeah.
Just saying that.
It's time for this white boy to head on inside.
Something like that. Yeah. But
I feel that.
They had a stadium over there ready to go, and the mayor of St. Petersburg said, either they're going to stay here or they're not playing in Florida at all. So he's like, we're not doing that. I'm like, well, how ignorant do you have to be to let the team leave the state of Florida and not just play across the bay in Tampa? Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it sounds like everybody's got their head so far up the rear they can taste lunch for a second time.
Yeah.
I know that about that.
Third.
Right. So the next baseball team, guys, I think this might be one of the last times I talk about them, because an article that I read earlier today that the Blue Jays are moving to Buffalo starting possibly next week, so they will not be invested in. That's where the Blue Jays do their spring training. They're in their spring training home in Dunedin. But most likely, according to their general manager, they are going to be moving the team to Buffalo to play out the remainder of their home schedule in Buffalo until Canada opens the border. And
hopefully it won't be too long and Canada will get the border back open.
They can open Rogers Center back up so these boys can play at home in their home stadium. George Springer's going to he played an inter-squad game today, so he's on his way back.
That's good.
You don't know who George Springer is. Tomorrow. The former Astro has signed with the Jays during the offseason. And again, I think here's another team right now. Again, the Jays are third? They're fourth in the division. And I think they're beating the Rays as we speak, right? I think last time.
I'm not sure. I haven't.
They were up 4-1. Let me see what it is here. They're up 5-3 in the top of the ninth. They're up 5-3. Now they're in St. Pete. The Rays are at home, so the Rays still have their at bats in the ninth inning.
Right.
But the Jays are up 5-3 as we speak, and so we'll see that. We'll definitely see what happens. But again, guys, if it breaks my heart this might be the last time that you see this logo behind me on this show, at least. Because if they move to Buffalo, then they no longer are part of Florida anymore, and that is that. So that's that.
Buffalo Road.
Yep, they're on to Buffalo, where they will be playing out the remainder of their home games in the Buffalo area.
Sense think about it.
So Toronto reopens. And speaking of the other Toronto team that calls Tampa home, I'm going to jump to the NBA. And apparently Kyle Lowry is homesick and wants to go back to Toronto. I read an article about that today, that he's homesick and wants to go home. Again, you can't because the border's closed.
You can't go home.
Can't go home unless you want to be in quarantine for 14 days, because that's the only way that you'd be able to go home at that point. So, yeah. Let's see where exactly. See the scores. Looks like Toronto doesn't play until tomorrow against the Knicks.
Anything nationally about it?
Wants to go home at 1:00 in the afternoon. The border's closed.
Murph.
So none of the teams. Let's see here. I don't see any of the teams that I cover. Oh, Miami lost today, 118-103 to the Hawks. So that's the only team that I cover on here. Unless you want to be in quarantine for 14. But that is that. Oh, and by the way, Lewis, if you do not know, we got copyrighted last night. We got a copyright claim.
Yeah.
You know
what? The WWE clip?
WWE clip. We got a copyright claim because WWE doesn't want to. They thought we were stealing their fame from them.
Right.
So
the whole negative sense we were gonna make off that 2-second audio clip.
Yeah, that's why I never do that on my show.
Well, you know what? You live, you learn, and I learned. I haven't even shared that yet. I'm gonna try to get that edited over the weekend, and maybe I can get that taken out of there so we don't get copyrighted in the future. Because I think what is it like? You can only get copyright claim like 2 or 3 times, and they take your account.
No,
off.
you can get. Copyright. As long as your video doesn't get struck, you're all right.
Right.
Okay.
So what a copyright claim is that the copyright owner claims your video, and they make all the revenue off your video until you dispute it. And then if you dispute it and they determine that it's fair use, then you get to remonetize your video. Which, in my opinion, that was fair use because we were commenting on it.
Yeah, we weren't using it for our own video.
We were not using it for the purposes of
making money.
We didn't just clip it and put it up on our YouTube channel to make profit off of it. We were it should have been fair use and it should have never been claimed.
Right. Yeah. I'll go ahead, guys, and jump to the Miami Heat. Now, I read an article earlier today. Is it too early to give up on Tyler Hero? That's
really?
One of the players. This is coming from one of the Miami writers that writes for the Heat. That is it time to give up on him? I don't think so.
No, it's his third year?
Yeah. He came in as he was one of the players that I mentioned early on this show when the NBA season was getting ready to start. as one of the guys that they were going to have to turn to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals where they were a year ago, or to the NBA title. I'm sorry, Eastern Conference Finals. Excuse me, back to the NBA championship.
Yeah,
because they lost to the Lakers in the finals last year.
right.
So they did pick up Bradley Beal in free agency, so that's a big pickup for Miami. And then again, the other story I see is that Stephen A. Smith and Spike Lee are criticizing Dwayne Wade on becoming an owner with the Utah Jazz. I don't know if you guys have heard that he.
I heard about that. Yeah.
So I guess Stephen A. and Spike Lee do not agree with the decision. They have criticized.
Well, it's not their money, so
no.
They have criticized Mr. Wade about that. So that's their opinion, and they're entitled to it. They're entitled to their opinion. So I won't argue with that. They're entitled to it. Here's a team right here that might be one of the worst in the NBA right now, and they're going to have a lot of work to get back to where they were
15 years ago.
Yeah, they. I
remember when the Magic were a perennial playoff team.
I don't know what they can do, Orlando, to fix this.
Blow it up and start over.
Yeah, that's what they're probably going to have to do. Unfortunately,
yep.
It's not good. Yeah. It's not good in Orlando right now. Not for basketball. I mean, it's good in Orlando for football, but not for basketball. So the Magic, again, this is short-lived, short-learned. They have to blow it up, start all over again. Hopefully they can get some picks, get some hot college players to turn into great NBA players, get the right coach, so on and so forth, and get back to the – now, again, this team was in the playoffs last year and lost in 5 games to the Milwaukee Bucks, which they surprised everybody in Game 1, which I was shocked that they won Game 1. They even won 1 game against Milwaukee last year, but they did. They somehow pulled that off. So that is what it is. All right. So let me go ahead and jump to the NHL, where both of these teams are both playoff bound, starting with this one right here, the Poison Sunrise. This team, as we spoke about last night on the Walker Report, this is not going to be a team that's going to go away anytime soon.
They're not going to go quietly into the night.
This is a team that I think a lot of people had no idea would be as good as they are.
I certainly didn't see that coming.
Now, here's what I hope happens. This is me being a Lightning fan. I want to see the two teams play against each other in the playoffs. I seriously would love to see.
I think it would be fun if they played in the conference finals.
A 7-game series against these two teams. If it's Florida and Tampa Bay, I think that would be awesome for both those teams. Both, I've been down to the stadium, the BB&T Center in Sunrise many times. Very nice arena. One of the nicest hockey arenas. That's kind of one of those never heard of before. That's
a newer building, isn't it?
Fairly new. They've done some renovations to it, but it's next to an outlet mall. You have to walk across the street. Here's the thing about the stadium: if you Uber there, or if you are staying in a hotel, which me and my future roommate, my best friend that I've known for 20 years, will be moving in with me in July. We've been down there, and they drop you off at the mall. You have to walk across the street. There are no way for you to be dropped off in front of the arena. They don't allow cars. You can park in the parking lot, but you cannot have any Lyft, Uber, taxi, whatever, drop you off. They drop you off across the street, and you have to walk across the street to their arena. But it's been one of the nice ones. It looks like their rookie goaltender Spencer Knight won his NHL debut. He's filling in for Chris Traeger, who has been the hot hand for the Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky has not been what he is prone to be coming over. So we'll have to wait and see how the Panthers do. I believe, let's check out NHL right now. They had lost. I know they lost to Carolina last night, 4-2. But
I was going to ask you, are they the biggest surprise, or is Carolina the biggest surprise this year?
I think it's tied, bud. I'll be honest with you. I think it's what it says right here. The Hurricanes can clinch with the Predators' loss, so that kind of tells you that. None of the games tonight. The Rangers won 4-1. Buffalo beat Boston 6-4. Nashville's
6-4. Wow.
2-0 over Chicago, and Montreal and Calgary are tied at 2 in the second period. Let's see where the standings are, because I know Carolina and Florida, I believe, were tied the last time I had checked, or Carolina was on number 1. Let's see here.
They were number 1 on the
Yeah, Carolina's number 1 with 67 points. The Panthers are at 65. And the Lightning are at 64. So 1 point separates 2 and 3. 3 points separates 1 and. So if the playoffs started today, they'd play each other in the 2-3 game.
Okay.
Carolina would play Nashville in the 1-4 spot. So Nashville has a 2-point lead on the Dallas Stars. Now, wouldn't that be something if somehow Dallas finds their way back into the playoff picture?
That would be incredible.
They're only 2 points behind Nashville for that final playoff spot in the Central. So we'll see how that all boils down. I know the Lightning, I think they don't play again until Sunday. I think they have the next 2 nights off. Let me see. Let me see something here. I'll check the schedule real quick. I don't know. Let's see when the Panthers play next as well. I think, like I said, I think it honestly would be cool if the Lightning and Florida play in the playoffs. Carolina will be at Florida tomorrow night. That will be a game to watch. That could be first place right there. First place will be on the line there. Carolina can strengthen their first place if they can beat them, and Florida can get a little bit closer. So, yeah, the Lightning don't play again till Sunday night against Columbus, which they lost to. No, they won. They won last night. So that the Lightning obviously are in third, so they're chasing that. I actually, gentlemen, will be going to the Lightning game on Cinco de Mayo as they play the Dallas Stars. So I'll be there. I'm going to go. I'm kind of cool. I think I want to go to during a pandemic shortened season because I want to see what it's like to be in a limited hockey game crowd at Amalie Arena. Obviously,
you got a ticket, damn it.
Yep. Obviously, Nikita Kucherov will be back soon for the Lightning. That'll be a run.
Yeah, that's like a shot in the arm right there.
Steven Stamkos coming back off injury. So could be one of those just waiting in disguise type situations where the Lightning could be back, getting their players back right at the right time to make another run at another cup to come back. Again, as a Lightning fan, we love to keep the cup here, but that's going to be hard. That's going to be easier.
Yep.
It's easier. I think it was easier last year.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, than it will be this year.
I still have questions about how the heck they're going to do the playoffs.
That's a good question. We'll have to wait and see how obviously it's going to be a bubble again, which most likely it'll be in Canada because it's not going to be here in the United States. You can't cross the border. So I don't know how they're going to do that.
It'll be interesting.
What do you do if a Canadian team gets in the finals?
Cancel the finals.
Well, there will be a Canadian team in the finals because you have 4 divisions, and one of them is an all-Canadian.
So what do you do? You play against an American team. What do you do?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's a very, very good question.
Well,
go ahead.
I don't know.
As I always do, I do end with the college kids. So I start with the boys that call Coral Gables home. And this is a team that I really think could be on the rise in the ACC this year. This is a team that begins their 2020-2021 campaign. Their 20. Jesus, I'm getting the years mixed up. Their 2021 campaign, because I don't think unless you're in the national championship game, do you cross over into the new year. But
2021, 2022.
Yeah, this is a team. Manny Diaz, who's the head coach at University of Miami. I think in the state of Florida with the big three, the wheel goes around. And what I mean by the wheel is it's either Florida, Florida State, or Miami who's the top team in the state of Florida. Now, again, people are gonna argue with me and say, well, what about UCF? Okay.
What about UCF?
What about UCF? They're not one of the big three. They're not in a power conference. So until they get to a Power 5 conference, I don't think you have anything to say. This team right here, I think, probably is the second best team in the state of Florida. I have to give the edge a little bit to the Gators, but not much, because Miami played Florida last year to open the season and gave them a football game. Or was that 2 years ago? Maybe it was 2 years.
I know 2 years ago.
Against Florida 2 years ago. Yeah, that's right, because they couldn't have played last year because it was an all-conference schedule. So it had 2019 was the year that they played. Miami gave them a run that year. Again, it's going to come down. DeAndre King tore his ACL in their bowl game. That's going to be a question at quarterback. Obviously, you need a good quarterback if you're going to win the ACC. I'm not thinking these guys are going to win the ACC, but Clemson's due for a fall off.
Yeah, for a falling off.
I doubt it very much.
Sooner or later.
You watch out for North Carolina.
North Carolina. That's a team.
Mac Brown's got them boys playing some good football.
And you see, that's a team that another team that no one kind of talks about in the ACC is North Carolina, who can give Miami a little. Giving Miami.
They can give them fits.
Give them fits.
Very much. It could very quickly turn into a nightmare for the Hurricanes.
Let me see real quick, bud, if the Canes play against UNC.
I'm not sure.
Let me see here real quick. Hurricanes football schedule. Let's see here. Let's see if the Canes do play North Carolina this year. Yes, they do. And they're at North Carolina on October 16th. So here's the Miami Hurricanes schedule for this year. They start on Saturday, September 4th against Alabama in Atlanta.
Wow.
The Virginia Tech where the Falcons play. Yep.
That's going to be a tough test. That'll see where they're at.
Yes.
I'll expect them to. I'm going to say they're going to lose, but if they can give Bama a game of some kind,
right,
come out and not get hit by 49.
They have Appalachian State at home the following
win.
They have Michigan State at home the week after that. I don't know how they have 4 straight home games in a row. Wow, that's a lot of home games in a row.
A lot of teams have 3 or 4 home games in a row.
I'm not sure who this is. The CCSU Blue Devils? I don't know who that is. Coastal Carolina?
Coastal Carolina, yeah.
Is that Coastal Carolina? Who is it?
It sounds right.
It's Central Connecticut. That's who it is.
Oh, Central Connecticut State. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Central Connecticut Blue Devils. Then they have Virginia on a Thursday night, which is my birthday, September 30th. They're off the 9th. They're at North Carolina. They're at home against NC State. At Pitt. There's another team that no one talks about in the ACC is Pittsburgh.
Pitt hasn't been doing good the last couple of years, so they've kind of fallen off.
They play Georgia Tech at home. They play the Noles on the road at Bill Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Then they play Virginia Tech, and they finish the season at Duke on November 27th. So right around Thanksgiving time, they'll finish up that weekend against.
God, is it September yet? Can we just skip the next 4 months?
That would be nice. I would. That would be great. Let's go right to football season, starting back up again.
Let's do next Thursday, and then just sleep until September.
Sleep until September. Yeah.
Wake me up when September begins.
That's a good song too.
Yes. You should hear me play it sometime.
Well, I can't play it on here. We'll get copyright claim.
No, I mean, hear me play it myself.
But Florida State, obviously.
Yeah, no, actually,
the boys in Tallahassee, This will be a better year than their 2020 season. Coach Norvell. They're going to be a lot better in Tallahassee for all the Knowles fans out there. It was terrible.
Hopefully.
A year ago. What I mean by that is they don't have any off the field issues like they did a year ago. They didn't start off very well with player issues and stuff like that. So now, hopefully, not so this point. Again, we still have another 4 months yet before we can officially say that the season starts. Now,
Long
guys,
way to go.
They start on Sunday, September 5th at home against Notre Dame. So the Fighting Irish are coming to Tallahassee to play the Knowles. Then they go, they play Jacksonville State. Then they play Wake Forest on the road. They play Louisville at home, Syracuse at home. They play North Carolina on the road. Their homecoming game is against UMass on October 23rd. They play at Clemson on the day before Halloween. They play November 6th at home against NC State. They have Miami at home, who we just talked about. They play at their last road. The last 2 games are on the road. They play at Boston College on the 20th. And then, of course, on Thanksgiving weekend, they will travel to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium to play the Florida Gators. As that
they're
game
playing the Gators to knock out the season, huh?
They always do.
Is that tradition?
That's a tradition. The Knowles and Gators have always played the weekend of Thanksgiving, except for the last year. Obviously, they're in conference would not allow them to play against each other. But yeah, so that's the Knowles schedule. I think it's going to be a lot better than it was last year for them.
Yeah, they've got. They can easily go 7-5 or 7-4 without a problem.
Well, like I said, it's going to be a lot better than it was for them. A lot better for them than it was last year, where they didn't get off to a great start. But here, I'll go to Gainesville. Obviously, the big question now is, how are you going to replace Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts? That's the big question on offense for the Gators this year is, how do you replace those 2 big weapons that have now left? Emory Jones, I think, is a good replacement. He can run and throw. He's a dual threat quarterback. Jacob Copeland will probably be the top wide receiver. But the big thing with the Gators, for me, has been the running game. They need to get better on the ground. They can't be one-dimensional. And that's what I think, between them and the defense kind of falling apart towards the end of the season last year, is what cost them a chance to be in the national title picture. Like they
Absolute brain fart by that defensive player to toss the dude's shoe in the fog.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can suspend a player for that, but
you should.
I mean, that was just bonehead. They had the game won. All they had to do was just walk off the field, and they had it won.
And that's, you know what, the funny thing is, that's LSU too. That was big,
dumb.
Very dumb.
Yeah.
Very dumb. So let me go real quick,
I
guys.
don't even remember what I was
talking about. Let me run this real quick, guys. I forgot to do my sponsorship here. My show is sponsored, guys, by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and Eat Seat delivery. How do you place your order? And I would like to welcome those guys back to my show anytime. It's kind of cool to have them on a couple months ago. The Gators start at home against Florida Atlantic. And then the game that I have circled on my calendar is the game on September 11th, where they come to Tampa to play the South Florida Bulls at Raymond James Stadium. I'm sure hoping to hell to be a media member to be there to see that game. Then they go back home to play the defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. That will be a game to watch as well between those 2 teams. The following week, they're back at home against the Tennessee Volunteers. Then they go on the road to play Kentucky, back home to play Vanderbilt. They're on the road against LSU at Death Valley on the 16th, and they have a bye week. Then on October 30th, the day before Halloween, the biggest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville against the Georgia Bulldogs. That game to me is one of them. I think I would rather watch that game than the FSU game. No offense to FSU. I think the game against Georgia is more important. It's a division game.
Yeah. I can understand that.
In conference game.
Yep. I can totally. I much rather beat OSU than Michigan State. Not that I want to lose to Michigan State, but
Then they travel to South Carolina to play the Gamecocks on November 6th. They're at home against Samford on the 13th of November. Their last road game is at Missouri, and then of course, like we just talked about, they're at home on Thanksgiving weekend to play the Florida State Seminoles. Again, I think the big thing again with them is their running game and the defense, and then, of course, replacing all of the weapons you've lost. You lost Tony, you lost Pitts, you lost Trask. There's a lot of firepower that the Gators have lost to the draft. But, again, that's what every team goes through. Every team gets good.
Next man up.
Next man up. Exactly. So that is that. The next college football team I call, obviously, will be the boys that call Orlando home under Gus Malzahn. And that is the UCF Knights. Yep, he's the head coach. If you did not hear last week, they have billboards in different areas of the country, all the way up to Atlanta, Georgia, advertising for you to come see UCF football in Orlando, giving you the exact mileage to their campus to watch the Knights play football. That's how proud they are and how confident they are that they are the best team in the state of Florida. They are. That's what they believe. They believe that. But Gus Malzahn obviously has these. He's talking about leading this team to the promised land, possibly to a college football playoff appearance, which I don't think is going to happen. They're not in a Power 5 conference, so I don't see that happening. That's something unless the committee picks them. But that's, again, I'm not the voting committee.
Okay, let's get into their schedule because I want to see what their schedule looks like.
Okay, yeah, let me bring that up. Hang on just a second. Let me see what their football schedule is.
Are they in the Sun Belt?
Nope, they're in the same conference as USF. They are in the same conference as they're in the AAC, the American Athletic, is where they're at. Here is the Knights schedule. They start against Boise State. They play Bethune-Cookman. They're in Orlando.
Okay.
No, that's in Orlando. So Boise State will be coming to Orlando. Bethune-Cookman's coming to Orlando. Louisville is on the road. Navy's on the road. Eastern Carolina's at home. Cincinnati's on the road. Memphis is at home. Temple is on the road. Tulane is at home. SMU is on the road, and their last two games are against UConn and South Florida. Those are both at home. So the Knights always play the Bulls.
None of those teams are Power 5.
They don't play a Power 5 team.
You won't get respect.
Go ahead.
You won't get respect nationally if you don't play a Power 5.
Well, their athletic director has pitched shop and headed to Tennessee. That's where he's at. Their former AD moved and went to Tennessee and then took their coach with him. Josh Heupel moved on to Tennessee.
But they don't have any power. How can you lead them to the promised land if you don't schedule Michigan, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, USC?
That's a very, very good question.
Texas, Oklahoma. You can't go. You can't sit. You can sit here and jibber all you want. But if you're not going to challenge the Big Five, you're not going to make any noise. You can beat up on
either.
You can beat up on Bethel Cook. You can play 12 games against Bethel Cook and hang 600 points on him, and you'll never make a title.
Yeah, they were.
And then when they do play a top 5, a Power 5 team, they get their butts handed to them.
Yeah.
they didn't want to play that 1-2-2 thing where you play one. They have one game at home and they have to go on the road and play two.
Okay, play a 1-1.
Well, yeah. Again, maybe their new AD will be able to schedule.
Play Tennessee. You play the 3 Florida teams. Play 1-1s with the 3 Florida teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's
these boys are gonna play Georgia, or they're gonna play Texas. They played Wisconsin. They're gonna play They played Notre Dame.
They're gonna play Florida this year.
They play Florida this year. I mean, I know they get their butts handed to them, but at least they're trying. For God's sakes, I mean, you want to talk about being a top 5 team. Oh, we're gonna take them to the promised land. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna beat the best. Well, if you're not playing the best, what does it matter?
No,
I agree. I agree with you on that. So here is the schedule for USF. They, again, under head coach Jeff Scott. This is Jeff Scott's second year. This team won one game a year ago in 2020. That one, it's not going to get it done this year. And they'll have to win more than one game. But here's the schedule for them. They start on the road against NC State on a Thursday night on September 2nd.
That's a winnable game.
Their home opener is against Florida on September 11th. They play the Florida A&M Rattlers at home the following week. I think that's a winnable game.
Yep.
All right, but I'll be honest with you. I saw someone predict it. The Florida A&M game is the only game they predicted the Bulls to win. All the other ones, they have them losing, every single one of them. So, again, let me go down on the list and let you know who they are. 4th of September. At SMU on October 2nd. They have a bye week. They play Tulsa, who has given them fits. Tulsa's not really that good of a football team.
Yeah.
The Temple Owls have given them fits. That's another team they can.
But that's a game they should have won last year.
Right. They will play ECU, which they have had good. They've played very well.
That's a very winnable game.
Their homecoming game is against the Houston Cougars, and Houston annihilated them last year on the road. So that game will be up in the air. Cincinnati is going to be a tough out. The Bearcats were, in the national limelight a year ago. At Tulane, the Green Wave, again, another team that's kind of iffy. We'll have to wait.
That's winnable.
And then again, they play on the road in Orlando on Black Friday against UCF. So that's the way they end the season.
Wow.
I've got them at 8-3 or 7-4.
If they go 7-4, I would say this: if they go 6-6 or 6-5 or whatever, that would be a win in my book.
If they can get to 6 wins and make a bowl, that's more than you can hope for right now. I don't know what.
Yeah.
There must be some good good drugs in Orlando and bad drugs in South Florida, because
why is that?
If Gus Malzahn thinks that the no-name UCF team is going to play for a national title, and a very game Bulls team is going to win one game.
Yeah,
I mean, there were at least 4 or 5 games that I watched, because I'm a fan of Brad's, and Brad's a fan of the Bulls, and he's a writer for them, so I kind of keep up with them, just help him out, and so that if I come on this show, or when we're on our Thursday show, or even on my Saturday show, we can talk about them, because they're kind of one of those cute little schools that everybody, oh hey, look, there's a football game on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I watched 5 or 6 of the Bulls games last year, especially on Thursday and Friday nights, and it was like there was at least 4 of them that they should have won. They should have beat Temple. They should have beat Tulane.
Correct.
They got thumped by Houston and Cincinnati. There's a couple other games that they should have won.
Houston thumped them. Notre Dame thumped them. There was a couple of thumpings this year.
Yeah, but again, it's growing pains. Everybody, you've got to understand that it was Jeff Scott. I keep thinking Scott Frost, but Scott Frost is about to get fired from Nebraska.
Right. Yes.
Maybe he'll come back to Orlando. No, he won't now. Gus Malzahn, so never mind.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Hell, Gus Malzahn, I mean.
Well, here's the thing, too, about USF. And I'll say this. This was my third year covering them as a media member. And they were playing UCF at Raymond James Stadium. And guess what? They were down, I want to say 17 points. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I got in the car, got in the parking lot. And lo and behold, do I turn the radio on just because I want to listen to the game? And son of a bitch, do they not come back within 3 points? They fumbled the ball on a third down. Had they not fumbled, UCF this year. They would have beat the Knights. Had they not fumbled the ball, the Bulls would have won that football game. And you know what? I would love to see Coach Scott have a good season and win 6 games.
Absolutely.
And you know what? One of those wins comes against UCF. Gus Malzahn gets beat his first year by a team that only was predicted to win 1 game.
Yeah.
So they're going to win more than 1 game. I don't think they're going to beat.
No.
I don't think they beat Cincinnati. They're going to have a fight with Houston. I hate that because they're home. So that's going to.
I think they'll lose to Houston. I have Houston being a loss.
That's a whole.
I have SMU as a toss-up.
Yeah.
But I had them. Tulane should be a win.
They can definitely beat Temple. I think they get some revenge against the Owls this year. They can beat ECU. I know they struggled against the Pirates last year. They can beat ECU.
They should be. Well, and the other thing that you've got to realize is that this year they're going to have full camps.
Well, I was just going to say the spring game was fun. I enjoyed the spring game this year. I went to the spring game. I was actually called the day of your show, but I remember I was.
That's right. That was week 2, I think it was, or week 1. I don't remember. Yeah, no, it was week 2 because week 1 I did it on Friday because I had something going on Saturday. That's right. It was my buddy's wedding.
I was home working from home the first show.
The last day you worked from home.
Yeah, I was on that show.
Go.
My last day from working from home for a while. So we're all back in the office now. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. I definitely see USF this year.
Yeah.
You know, but that's somebody out there making a prediction.
But that's why we play the damn games.
Correct. Right. Exactly. So
if every game was played on paper, there'd be no point in even having sports.
Correct. Exactly. Well, go ahead.
Every now and again, a miracle on ice happens.
Correctamundo. Well, gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's all I have for this edition of the Jabber. Thank everyone for joining in. Thanks for these 2 fine gentlemen for coming on for 2 consecutive nights to come on here and help me.
A blast.
I mean, if you guys want to come on here every week, I don't have an issue with that. I'll be talking.
I can't promise you I can be here every Friday night, but any Friday night I can be here, I will be here.
Good.
Anytime after 9:20, anytime between 9:15 and 9:20, I'm here.
Cool. Then that's fine. That'll work out well. I usually talk. I mean, we were talking earlier about the Rowdies. You missed that conversation, Lou. So I'll hold soccer off until you come on because I know you're a little bit of a soccer fan and more than I am and more than Adam is. So I'll hold off with the soccer talk. But again, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your local sporting events. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And again, this show is part of NGSC Sports, guys. Please remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. As I always do, I want to thank the first responders, doctors, and nurses who have been the true heroes since the pandemic started last year. Thank you guys for doing what you have done. Obviously, to our soldiers, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifices. We would not be able to talk sports like we get to do and have a lot of fun doing it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, however many. I know both of these gentlemen both have their own individual shows. I have another show that I'm hoping to be part of on Tuesday night, and that will be Bullseye back with my man Larry Frank. If he's feeling very well, which I believe he will be, hopefully we'll have a way to talk about USF athletics. We talk about all USF sports on that show, and that includes volleyball, golf, tennis, all of the above, rugby, all that. I have a rugby contact that I'm going to talk about rugby with. And then again, to our domestic soldiers, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, thank you guys for keeping us safe domestically. As always, guys, thank you for everyone out there that takes their time to come in here and listen to me jabber for an hour or an hour plus this evening. But thanks for everything, guys. Every single one of you, all my hosts, everyone that listens in. Until next week, guys, I'm out. I'll be back next week on both the Walker Report. We'll be covering the first round of the NFL draft. This show next week will kind of go over round 1 and maybe round 2 for the Jaguars, Bucks, and the Dolphins in round 2. We'll talk about that. And then some other news that comes up. We'll go talk about who won the St. Pete Grand Prix. That will be a finale next week. So we'll talk about the Grand Prix next week. But until then, guys, everyone have a safe night out there. Have a great weekend, guys. Everyone stay safe. Wear your mask.
Don't forget about my show tomorrow. Enhanced Sports Show. 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Number to call is 512-543-4662. That number again, 512-543-4662. That's 5 to 7 East Coast Time.
Thank you. Adam has a show also tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Daylight Time.
Right.
Or whatever. Whenever you get up, it's on YouTube under my name. So I'll be the host of that show.
Yep.
And these two fine gentlemen may or may not join me. We'll talk sports and we'll use
10 to noon, you said, right?
Yes, 10 a.m. to noon. Noon.
Okay.
And we'll use all the foul language we want. Like ducks and geese.
I think I'll say good night.
See you guys later. Yep. All right, guys.
Good night,
Good night.
Good night, guys. Peace, guys. And let's see.